All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Muscle Discord, and we're back live every Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Welcome back again, Ron Harris, to the show.
What's up, guys?
What's up? And my man, Phil, the Jamaican Tank, Clayhar. Welcome back, brother.
What's going on, everyone?
Awesome. Well, there is a lot to talk about. Once again, we have multiple shows happening. We just we're going to do a recap of the Toronto Pro Show. We got Derek Lunsford saying stuff. We got Lee Haney saying stuff. Lots to go over. So let's go through first the Toronto Pro recap. Wasn't the biggest lineup, but let me just share my screen here. We'll quickly go over it. Share screen. We will go to this one. Yeah. All right. So Sasan finally wins a show this year. How many shows has he done this year? He's done the Detroit. It was the first one, I think.
Yep.
Got second.
This was the fifth show.
Fifth show.
Yeah.
Damn. And he's going over to Spain this weekend.
Yeah.
So just unbelievable how this guy's body has held up. Do you know how old Sasan is? Is he like mid-30s or something?
Oh, he's got to be older than that.
Okay. Well, fuck. I mean, that's tough. That's hard. I know it's going to be hard on his body, but to continuously be depleting yourself, dehydrating, peak week, all of that, the drug protocol.
You heard he was stuck at JFK Airport for 20 or 30 hours?
Yeah, delayed. And
the hell?
He's still able to do this. So it's just, no, don't get me started on this guy. Get me out of this photo. Sorry. Yeah. Well, I'll get your guys' opinion on that. I made a little rant about that guy, man. I can't. But all right. So let's go. Yeah, there's some good comparison right here. This is good. So what do you guys think? I mean, Regan, this seemed like, again, he missed the mark. He left the door open. This should have been a show that he's already beaten Sass, right? So this is already done deal. All he had to do was come in shape, keep it tight for a week, and win another first place check. Phil, what's your thoughts on Regan and like what's happening with him? Again, his tan is not there. I don't know.
I don't even have an answer. I would just say I don't understand why they didn't just do what they did the week before. Yeah. He wasn't sweating. I mean, the tan wasn't perfect, but he was in better condition. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea what's going on. Probably they did do the same thing, and I don't know, man. Regan, I have like so much high hopes for him because the potential that he carries. But then, like, I'm looking at, I mean, I don't even know how well he's going to do in the Olympia with, like, what is 3 showings? One of them, he basically melted away. That was New York, I think. No, that was New York. He faded away. Yeah. The last show, which was what was that last week? That was Cali.
Cali was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and that's the one he won, correct?
Yep.
And he looked amazing. And then this week, everybody was expecting to see pretty much the same thing. And then he went right back to the sweating and the tan dripping and all that stuff. I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know if it's something with the carb loading. I have no idea. I just know it's very disappointing because I picked him to win this show.
Yeah. Ron, what's your thoughts on Regan?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why can't this guy get a proper stage color? That's puzzling the shit. I mean, I remember guys having issues with that. I remember Branch was having trouble, even Dennis Wolf at one time. They figured it out. This guy's got all the resources in the world, every expert in the world, every guru, everybody. He could reach out to anybody about anything, and they would jump at the chance to help Regan Grimes. This is the 3rd show in a row where his tan has looked ridiculous. I don't know what the condition. I don't know why he faded. It's only 2 weeks. I don't know why he wasn't able to hold the condition. But it's funny because he wins Cali Pro, and everyone's like, Boss of Outlaw is awesome.
Yeah.
Sass second. Chris Aceto sucks. And now Chris Aceto was Sass's coach. So now Chris Aceto is awesome and Boss of Outlaw. I'm calling him Loss of Outlaw. I'm like, come on, guys. Get with that.
No. Yeah, I see that too. And it's just like, coach does well, he's the best. If he doesn't, then he sucks. So it's just like, no, you got to look at their track record over the years and accumulate that and then talk about them. But I don't know what Regan's physique. Just looking at this video, he doesn't, the hardness, the muscle hardness, I mean, if they're back, it looks okay. The hamstrings are pretty crazy. But from the front, he just doesn't have that density that a lot of guys, especially his age, should have. Like Nick Walker. I think he's older than Nick Walker.
Yeah, maybe by a year.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, why doesn't he have that density that Nick has? Is it the training he's doing? Is it the food he's eating? Just right here, like, it looks kind of like Derek Lunsford from the front, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like that. The chest. So I don't know. Yeah, I like Phil said, we don't know how he's going to do at the Olympia because he doesn't have a good track record of being consistent. He's either really good or he's really bad. It's not even in the middle. It's like, although this wasn't terrible or anything. I mean, he just looked like he was, watery, wasn't really dry, and faded again. So I've never seen. What do you think? I've never seen this much fading in shows.
He looked a lot better on Instagram, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. See, that's what happens, right?
He looked shredded, dry. I was like, oh boy. And then I see him I know this isn't the greatest resolution that the live stream, but I was like, geez, why was he so much leaner on Instagram?
Yeah. Regan said he is allergic to all but one tanning oil. Maybe he needs to develop a deep, dark, natural tan. Yeah. And he lives in Vegas, so sit out in the sun.
Seriously.
Exactly. We went over this. Sit out in the sun, get that base tan, and be done with it. Like, you cannot, Regan Grams, you cannot come to another show with another terrible tan. Like, it's just going to be, it's just an embarrassment. This looks silly. Like, again, Phil was saying, or Ron was saying, they have all the resources in the world. They got money is not an issue. Whatever it takes, they can get it done. Yet they go on stage to present their physiques to the world in front of all the cameras, and this is what happens.
As far as what's he going to do at the Olympia, he's not. There's no way he's making top 5 regardless.
No.
He could have the best tan in the world. He could come in the best condition ever.
No.
That top 5 is locked down right now. He's not. There's no way. So, all the other guys are basically fighting for 7th through 10th at best, unless we're talking about Derek, Nick, Hottie, Samson, Brandon, Bonac. It's going to be. Did I say Andrew?
Martin.
Martin. That's like 7 names right there.
Classic. Any thoughts on this? Branch looked. I thought Branch squeaked by on this one. John Lee, he's actually from Vancouver. He great guy. Pushing. A guy like Branch, who's been at the Olympia before. I think he's been as high as 5th at the Olympia in Classic. So, close one here. I know we really don't go over Classic much, but I think it was a fair call. Agree with this. I think Chris Aceto just said that he's coaching Branch.
Oh,
the guy on the left that won. So
does he call himself Branch because of the legs?
I don't know. I think that's just his name is Branch. His actual name is Branch.
Not his real name. His real name's like,
I don't know. It's maybe it's not.
It's something else. It's like
it's probably a Chinese name.
Yeah. It isn't. It is. I'll get it for you.
Yeah. Okay.
I was curious, but yeah, he looked great. The other guy looked great.
And the other guy looked good too. Yeah, John.
Chen Kang is his real name.
Okay. There it is. Chen Kang. Okay. Yeah, looks good. And then 212 between Cody and Courage.
Yeah.
Again, he looked great. I think it was a clear win for him. Close, but clear win. Cody, again, Canadian athlete, looked good. He's been trying to punch his ticket to the Olympia, just hasn't been able to get there yet. These are tough 212 lineups. Courage could be like another, I don't know if he's another Keone in the making, but it's close. Like, he's got a really good physique. And
his name, Opara, his last name means firstborn son in the primary language of Nigeria, the Igbo people.
Okay.
Igbo group. So he's another great Nigerian.
Yeah, Nigerian then again.
But
this is what the reason why I say Keone, because look at this. It's close. Like, Keone stands behind that black backdrop too, and he kind of looks a little bit like Keone.
In his post there, if you read the post where it shows him winning, he said it was Keone and his wife were both the ones who convinced him to switch to 212.
Okay.
So,
Isn't that what Jay did with Phil, and then Phil ended up beating Jay?
you may regret it.
Yeah, you better be careful. But no, but yeah, no, yeah, this guy looks great, man. Big dude. So that's 212. We have the Dubai Pro coming up. It's 2 weeks now. I'm getting there. And Baruz just posted today. Do you think it's a clear win for Baruz, or is Nate, or there's also Ali Edward? Remember, there's Rubiel in there. There's no one going to touch. No one going to touch this.
Nathan's beat him before, though.
Did he? I thought we said that, and then I heard someone say no, he hasn't beaten Nathan.
Pretty sure he beat him at one of the.
Yeah.
There was one summer where they both did 2 or 3 shows over in Europe, and I think they both beat each other at one show or the other. Like one of them beat one at one, and then turned the tables at the other show.
Yeah, he looks crazy here.
Ask Nathan; he'll respond.
Yeah. Phil, what do you think about Baruz? Anyone got a shot? Does Nathan have a chance?
Yeah, I think Nathan has a chance. I can't even say if Baruz comes off because he really doesn't ever come off. He's very consistent. Yeah. I just think structurally, Baruz is going to just out-muscle him. Of course, we already know the conditioning. I love Nathan, but it's going to be close. But I think Baruz is going to pull it off.
Yeah, Nathan. Why wouldn't Nathan beat? We always talk about these things. We're like, oh, this guy's going to beat this guy. But we never say why. So why would Nathan not be able to beat Baruz? It's a good question.
You just talked about structure and condition, the 2 things he has an advantage over. Nathan does have much better quads. If it comes down to that. I mean, Baruz's condition is just some of the sickest condition I've ever seen. And I've never even seen him in person. It's always pictures and videos.
Yeah. Because we can't get him to come to the States. So we can't see it live on the Olympia stage. But I don't know, man. Baruz just structurally, just overwhelmingly, the only thing I don't like about Nathan is his waist. He has a very long torso, but then his waist, that's the only thing I don't like. Other than that, the guy's amazing. But I just think Baruz is just too much. I mean, they went against each other last year. Of course, this is a new year. It looks like Baruz put on a little bit more muscle from the picture he just showed me. So yeah, it's going to be close, but I think Baruz is going to pull it out.
Yeah. Ron, you round.
Giles and I are still recovering from round 1, so we'll see.
Yeah. No.
Somebody said we need to read more of these comments at the bottom. We're not. Yeah. They said Matt, you're not reading enough of them. I'm not going to tell you who said that.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. Yeah. I got to pay attention to half of these. Saz is 39, turning 40. So up there in age. Still doing all these shows. This tells you age is just a number for some people. We're gonna go to so there. Oh yeah, shit. Good. There you go. I'm gonna read the comments.
Wow.
Tonio's doing the buy. So it reminds me.
Oh, he is? Antonio?
Yeah. Let me go.
It's interesting.
Get out of there. Tonio. There it is.
You don't even follow him, dude.
This is a different profile I'm under.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we're back on good terms, me and Tonio. He blocked me a little bit there, and then he unblocked me.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, so how this might throw a wrench into some people's plans in Dubai, especially maybe Nathan, because he could push Nathan.
I don't know. I don't know. Structurally, he looks great, but we all remember this is bodybuilding, and he's just a smaller guy, to stand next to Nathan and Baruz. It's just a big difference with muscularity. Structurally, yes, he could probably, stick with Nathan with that. But overall, we're just looking at the overall package. It's like watching the Giant Killer stand on the Arnold stage against all those bigger guys. Not saying that he's small as the Giant Killer. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it's like putting a smaller bodybuilder up next to these massive, freaks. That's just my opinion. I don't want, Antonio think I'm being disrespectful, but I'm just saying it as I see it.
No, that's what the show is real talk. We talk about it like that's what it is. We're not going to sugarcoat it. And I see what you're saying. You're making good, valid points that Tonio is in the 230s. I think he was 237 or something.
220s.
No, I think it was last year. He was 227 or something, or in New York Pro, or was it 217? Or is he go from 217 last year to 227 now? I thought he was 230 something now.
He's never been. I don't think he's ever been 230 on stage.
Okay, so 220, maybe it's 227, so just under 230. And Nathan is what, 250?
Right around there.
Right? So yeah, Phil is making some.
Nathan's a big dude.
Yeah, Phil is making some good points there that Nathan isn't, this Nathan ain't no 227, he's 250 something on stage.
Yeah, Nathan is one of the most winningest pro shows. So that's another thing you got to hold in consideration. And plus, Nathan never really comes off. So, structurally, yes, Tonio has a beautiful structure, absolutely. But that's just one of the pie. We got to check all the boxes in all the categories.
Yeah, exactly. And Nathan is there. I think he's won 11 pro shows. So Nathan ain't no joke. And he's a veteran. And this is going to be maybe one of Tonio's biggest tests at Dubai, because he's going to be up against Baruz. He's going to be up against, there's another guy we're going to take a look at is Ali Edward and Rubio. So
he'll be Rubio. I hate to say it. Yeah. I'm looking at Tonio battling for second, third. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody else is going to that. I got to give the kid his respect. I don't see anybody taking him out. He's going to be battling with those two, Nathan and Baruz. And, who brings the best package is going to bring the best package. But I just don't think Rubio could stand next to Antonio. He may have the size, but we're talking about the overall package and structure. Rubio needs a little bit more. He will have to come in completely peeled, like really peeled, and may take out Tonio because of his size.
Yeah. Ron, what do you think about Rubio? Does he have a chance to beat? Like, Rubio looks pretty lean here, the side quad.
His side shots are some of the best. He beats so many people in the side chest and side triceps. Front double bicep, the structure, the shape to me is just really wonky. The same with the front lat spread. When he's standing there front relaxed, he's got that thick waist. The structure is just really cringy to me from the front. From the side, he's amazing. If you only saw that picture from the side tricep, you're like, oh my God, this guy's going to win the show.
Yeah.
You really break down the physique, and there's some issues there.
Yeah. That side tricep is probably one of the best.
Yeah.
In the league right now.
That's his best pose. The side chest is really good too.
Side chest. But yeah, Rubio hasn't been very consistent. Tonio's always consistent. He always comes in shape for the most part. So yeah. Now, has he traveled overseas and done the whole Dubai thing before? I don't think so.
No, I think the furthest he traveled was Brazil. I think Antonio went to.
Yeah. Yes.
But if he gets there early, if he gets there early in enough time, he'll be fine. As long as he give his body time to acclimate to, I think he'll be fine. I don't think it's going to be an issue with Tonio and being out there.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, this guy. Ali Edward. Let's see if we got. He's another guy he did Dubai last time. This is 2.5 weeks out from Dubai. He got 5th, I think, behind Rubio, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think? This is a guy that can take out maybe Tonio. He's thick. I think he's heavier than. No.
He's thick. He's big. He looks really great, but. I got to give Tonio's structure, man. It's just remarkable. I don't think I'm not really big on always thinking size will win, because that's not true. I mean, look at when look at Kamal stands very up next to some of the top elites. I mean, he was right there with what you call it in Tampa. What year was that, Ron? When Kamal took second, that was one of his best shows ever.
He was only the 2023, I want to say.
Was it 20? No, it had to have been like 20. It wasn't 2023.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I don't know what year that was.
I can't remember who did he won and someone else was. Was that?
I was in that show. It was me, Quentin, Kamal, and damn it, how am I forgetting his freaking name? He just won earlier this year.
Damn, it's like.
Which show?
Well, who won that? Did Kamal win that year in Tampa, or was he?
No, Kamal took that. I mean, it was everybody thought Kamal pulled it off.
Was it Akim Williams?
Akeem, yes. Akeem was just me personally. Kamal looked great. I think Kamal actually won that show. My personal opinion. I love Akeem. I just think Akeem just had so much muscle. I think that's what it was. It was just so much muscle. It was just hard for Kamal to take him out. But Kamal, that's the best I've seen Kamal ever. Ever. And then when Kamal went to Texas, he didn't place that well because I don't think he looked as good as Tampa the week prior. So that's what I'm saying. Size isn't always the key. You know what I mean? You could have great structure, conditioning, flow, and symmetry, which Tonio has. This guy looks ridiculous, but you know, you gotta give it to Antonio's overall look, man. Last time I chopped him up going into the last show, but I wasn't really chopping him up. But, I was just saying that I don't see a size difference from the year that I stood next to him, but I got to give him his respect in this show. I think he'll be battling for second place.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to count Ali Edward out. I think he's got more size than Tonio. I'm not saying he's going to beat Tonio, but I think people may be a little bit surprised. This is him 6 weeks out, okay, from Dubai, not 2 weeks. And he looks like this. The quads have improved on him. I know that was a thing he needed to work on. His back he's got more thickness now across the chest and the arms. So this guy made improvements. So, and he's been waiting. His visa he's been DMing me. He's like, my visa keeps getting denied. That's why I don't show up at these shows. I'm always on the list, but he just doesn't get his visa issue. So I don't know, but Dubai should be fine because he's there. So we're gonna see.
So when Nexzilla beat him, was Ali in really good shape? Because he looks to me like he has better structure, balance, and plenty of. There's nothing. You look at Rubiel, and the arms don't match the legs. The waist is blocky. This guy's to me has a better overall flow.
See if there's any photos of there we go.
The Nexzilla guys are going to come at me now.
Yeah. There you go. This is Dubai.
Huh.
You can tell he's put on size from the show.
Yeah, he looks significantly bigger.
Yeah. But he gets shredded. Yeah, I think it was just a size thing. Even though Rubiel was off for that. I think he beat I think he came behind Rubiel. I don't think he beat Rubiel. Yeah, like look at this guy. So he's one to watch. He's got the hams and the glutes, striations in the back. Let me see how it looks in his back shot. Yeah, that needs width. So
he looks better this year. Definitely looks better.
Yeah. They made some improvements. Okay, so that's Dubai coming up still in 2 weeks. So we'll do another preview of that next week. The Empro. Let's go to. I think the list just came out.
I haven't seen it yet.
From Muscle Insight. Thanks for tagging me in there. And there's not too many guys in the show. Just Sasan.
Oh my
God. And Angel Calderon. Okay, 212 guy. And that is it, guys. That's all I can see from people that
that's coming up this weekend.
Yeah. Wow.
Another kind of not saying lackluster, but
It is.
You know,
it is.
It is what it is. There's so many shows. That's what happens when you have this many shows, which is great, or have less shows with bigger prize money. It's like all these promoters want to just do a show and make some money, but then, sure, great for the promoter, but not. Is it good for the athletes? I guess you give the athletes more options to compete different times of the year and stuff, but then you get these shows where like none of these guys are going to be at the Olympia. We don't know who they are, so we're not necessarily. I've never seen these names before, so we're not going to be. Right? So,
Angel does 212 most of the time, but he hops in open shows too.
Exactly. Yeah. So then we're not really excited to watch the show. So yeah, it is what it is. You know, but that's it. There's not much to talk about. Sasan's going to win the show if he just knows what he has to do. Right, come in shape again, keep it tight.
He didn't even have to go to Toronto. He could have just gone to this.
He could have totally just done this show.
Oh well.
But hey, good for him to be doing all these shows, and he showed Regan. Maybe he wanted a little bit of revenge on Regan, so maybe he got that revenge right there.
I think he's just racking up some money, which is smart.
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
he's racking up some money, man.
So what is that? 20,000 at the Toronto? I don't know what the first place.
I was 15, I think.
15. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. This one's probably around the same. So make 30 grand in a couple weekends, minus your expenses.
What's first prize for Dubai? How much?
140.
Nice.
Yeah. So either Barus or
even a fourth place one is going to walk away with good money. So
yeah. So that's probably why Tony was like, you know what? Let's go get a check.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. Yeah. He'd probably get more than he did at the Reno Legion.
Yeah.
So yeah, make the money. Okay, let's go to Nick Walker, because I have some breaking news. Breaking news. Nick Walker has officially blocked me.
Oh boy.
Oh snap.
So I am using a bootleg website that will show people who have blocked you can still view their profile.
Yeah, but why? Why would he block you? He watches your show all the time.
Yeah. So Nick Walker can't handle me talking about him on my show or in my YouTube videos. And this has been a little bit that I've been blocked. I haven't talked about it until I need to actually do an update. And he blocked me the day after me, you, and Ron did the Hottie versus Nick Walker comparison.
Oh.
And we all had Hottie winning the majority of the poses. And that crossed the line. That was too much.
That makes no damn sense because of that.
That's the last, after that video went out, blocked. So I'm thinking, why would this guy has balls. Nick Walker doesn't give a shit. He talks shit. He said Samson had a shit back before. He talks shit about everyone. Like, he doesn't care. So the fact that he had to block me because I had him tied at Pittsburgh Pro. Should I have said you should have won, Nick? Is that what you wanted? Yes. I don't know. Like, is that what
said that?
I should have been Nick. You're a problem. Right?
Piss him off, man.
Come on, Nick. Thought you were a bigger man than that.
So now I'm thinking it's because of you, Matt, that he won't respond to my request for an interview.
Oh, okay, exactly. That's probably why.
Now it all makes sense. I was like,
it all makes sense.
Cool. Yeah.
Nick Walker can't handle it. I was surprised. Of all people, I thought Nick was cool enough to be like, you know what? This is just the media. We're just talking about these shows. I thought Nick could have won Pittsburgh. It was tied, in my opinion. Steve Weinberger said it was that close. So big deal, right? I didn't say you're going to win, Nick, but I just find it hilarious that he had to go to my profile, add me to the block, take the time out of his day to do that. Am I that important? Does it matter? I don't get it. I don't get why let it get to you. But what is it that I'm doing? I'm not really. Yeah, I was like talking about his waist and stuff, and like he's got to control his in the poses and keep it tight. But I thought he looked great at the Pittsburgh Pro. I had him easily winning the New York Pro. I was like, yeah, Nick's going to win the New York Pro. So I don't get why they think it's hate. I don't know. They don't like that I talk about certain things about your physique, yet you're in front of us every day and we're supposed to judge and critique and analyze you. I can't do that. I don't know. But that's
He'll
my little
unblock it. Give it some time. He'll unblock it just like Antonio did. Just give some.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a cool dude.
He's a good guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I don't understand why people block people. I've never did it on anything, Facebook, none of that stuff. I never really block. Listen, we're in a sport that's a judgmental sport, and listen, we all have our opportunity to voice our opinion. I mean, Nick has done it when he's been interviewed about his fellow competitors, and it's nothing harmful. We're saying we're just basically making our opinion. We all know Nick is a great bodybuilder. He's going to go down in history as one.
Yes.
And Nick knows himself. He said it about himself. He knows he doesn't have the most appealing physique. So that he has said. But what we saw this year of Nick was the greatest Nick I've ever saw. So at the end of the day, if we match someone up with somebody, it could be me against whomever, and everybody has their opinion. I'm not going to get offense to it. You know what I'm saying? It's bodybuilding. We all could voice our opinion. Every podcast does this. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know he watched his show valiantly because we used to text after some of these shows, me and Nick. So nobody's really coming down hard on him, man. He's a great bodybuilder. We just basically speak our mind and speak our truth. It don't have to be fact. You know what I mean? So I hope he gets over that and undelete you. Nick, undelete the man, please.
Yeah, maybe Phil will reach out and be like, "Hey, man, this Matt doesn't mean any harm. He doesn't mean any harm, man." Like,
and please get Ron into the interview.
Get Ron.
Get Ron into it. Out of everybody, we all know Ron is a freaking awesome
Ron
dude.
has interviewed everybody in the world. It's like, come on.
And I never, you know what bugs me? I hate to go there, but some people, I won't even name the names, but they've snubbed me for interviews. And then I see them going on. There's this one podcast where all they talk about is drugs. This guy gets the cycles out of everybody. He gets them to talk about their favorite compounds. I'm like, I would never ask you that stuff. I don't even think that's my business to ask you your cycle. But they'll go on these podcasts where, he's getting them to admit to I don't know if it's a felony, but it's still against the law. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to be taking test, trend, DECA, equipoise, GH, insulin. All this crap. I mean, I'm all for honesty and truth, but I don't know. To me, that's going too far. All right,
I don't know why he wouldn't come on your show, Ron. I mean,
please, Nick. Please.
He knows you're in the meeting. Like, this is what you've been doing for Ron. Like, people realize Ron has been doing this since the 90s. He's been talking 91.
Yeah,
and he's interviewed every top pro bodybuilder, Olympia, you name it. Ron's done it. So I think it was stupid for Nick not to go on your show, but it is what it is.
Maybe he will.
And Nick, I gotta say, Nick Walker, I don't hate you. You've been on my show. We used to DM. Cool. He'd be talking to me, telling me things, and so I'm a little surprised that he felt the need to block me. I think there's a potential that Nick could be as high as second at the Olympia. Maybe push someone to try and win it. That's how highly I think of Nick Walker, but. If he thinks that me doing comparison videos of Hadi versus him and having Hadi win, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize for that, Nick. If is that what you need? Is that what you need to get me on block, Nick? So you say I'm sorry.
Don't you dare apologize, man.
So, how do you know you've been blocked? You've been blocked when you go to look at their profile and you can't look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You search your name, nothing comes up.
No.
Can't even find them now. So
wow.
Yeah, and so when you click, like, say he's tagged on someone's photo or something, then you click, you can see it there, and you click it, it's nothing. It's a blank profile.
I know a lot of people, you can't tag them in stuff. They've got that setting on, but
yeah.
Okay. No, thank you.
No, so we'll see. Anyways, but this is Nick, 18 weeks out. And there's another thing too. I can't always. Well, I guess I can still get all this stuff here. It's a pretty good website. Shows all his stories and everything. So anyway, and need if you ever get blocked by someone, this is where you go. There's the.
Good to know.
And Nick, 18 weeks out. He stayed extremely lean. Is this a good thing, or is it a bad thing?
No, it's a good thing. That's
okay.
A good thing.
Why? You got the experience. People want to know why it's a good thing. to stay the
I
same?
always believe that a pro bodybuilder or amateur bodybuilder should always stay in striking distance. To blow back up and put back on crazy freaky size. Remember, we want Nick, I'm pretty sure Nick wants this as well, to come in with a much more streamlined waist, right? So it is very smart, because I think we spoke about this several weeks when his game plan was, he was saying to come into Olympia a little bit bigger, and we're always like, no, you don't need to be bigger, right? So probably he's rethinking his philosophy. That's what I'm just going to believe. And I think staying in striking distance so you don't have to work as hard, and bring in a much more appealing physique with a much more tighter waistline. I think that might be his game plan, was still staying big and round the way he looks. So I think it's smart. I think it's a very smart thing to do.
I got a question for you about that, Phil. You would know this better than me, competing at that level. So the Olympia is about, what, 18 weeks away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say it's 18 weeks. If you're already qualified for the Olympia several weeks ago, would you want to be on gear all the way through to October, or would you want to wait until the Olympia was 16 weeks away, save your receptors, your health, your organs, whatever, and then hop on at 16 weeks? Would you give yourself that time, or would you stay on the whole time?
No, you're 100% right. I mean, even when I did Orlando, and then I had to go to Romania and then had to do the Olympia, like me and Blue, we had to strategize everything gear-wise, because that's a long season. Yeah. And that's a long competitive and in peaking, so forth and so on. So yes, I firmly believe you need to come off. I don't say everything, keep a TRT dose in, keep probably a mild dose of Proviron in, and let the body settle itself, and keep some HGH in, of course. And that'll maintain his size and keep him lean. I don't think any pro should stay on anything, through that period. I think you need to let your body rest for about a good 6 to 7 weeks, possible if you have the time, and then gradually. And that's why I love Blue, because we don't go heavy into anything. Everything is microdosed, and then we just look as the physique goes. And if everything is going the way it's supposed to, there's no need for us to start spiking up on more drugs. So I hope that's what Nick is doing, and I hope that's what Derek is doing, is not blasting right now. I think everybody needs to come off and stay on a mild dose of testosterone, mild dose of HGH, and probably keeping a little bit of Proviron, small amount of Masteron, the safer drugs, to just keep them looking lean and tight. So yes, I don't believe anybody should continue running gear straight on through at 18 weeks out. No.
And I wasn't suggesting that Nick was, just that Nick, if you're listening, I wasn't saying that that's what you're doing. I'm just curious, because I've always, people want the bodybuilders to do every show and compete all throughout the year, but that means they're gonna have to be on heavy doses of shit. Like I think I got kicked off Olympia TV for having this argument with Sean Ray about people competing too often. Sean's like, why not compete? I said, because Sean, they have to be on a ton of shit all freaking year. And I don't know.
No, and Ron, you're right. I mean, once again, it's not directed to you, but this is not like back in the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s. It's not. You got to look at back then when Haney, Frank Zane, and all those guys were competing. It was less of everything, because they had pretty much the real shit. So they didn't need much of anything. Now we have a lot of underground stuff going on, and a lot of it is underdose. So now we're taking more, to try to equal what it's supposed to be. So, Ron, you're 100% right. I mean, Sean Ray can't get upset at that. And that's one thing, like, I respect about Ron, you, and Matt. The thing is, like, if you speak with common sense, and that's all we need in bodybuilding, just common sense. You know what I'm saying? And understand that we're looking out for the best interest of all these athletes on all levels. You know what I mean? So pacing yourself, doing a lot of shows, no. Of course, we as fans, we want to see it. Is it smart as an elite competitor, knowing what you have to put yourself through and your body through to make it to these shows and peak? It's pretty harsh on the body. And I think that's why, not to mean to mention it, that's why I think Arnold, when he rose his prize money, he was basically saying, these guys are putting their life on the line. And this is my way to reward them. Not saying he's okay with it, but he's understanding that, the life expectancy isn't long if we continue to push our body to this level. So he rose his prize money specifically for that, saying that, hey, these guys are putting their life on the line, and they should get what that is due. And I respect that. But no, like you said, Rod, pros competing frequently, I don't think it's a smart move unless they're running really low gear and they're playing it smart. Is it possible? Yes. But do we believe they're doing it? No. So, no, you should have never got kicked off Olympia TV for that. I mean,
I'm just getting. I don't know if that's why I was. They just stopped calling. He just stopped calling me all of a sudden, asking me to come on after that. So I just I might be drawing. I might be drawing.
Well, you can't. One thing you can't do. Okay, you can't piss off Bob Chicarella nor Sean Ray on Olympia TV. You can't do that. You won't go back.
No. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, that was a good question because I'm glad you asked that, Ron. Because I always wondered. I never asked it though. Like, do they stay on this whole time? And after they get qualified for the Olympia, do they stay all the way on until the Olympia? Right? No.
You had Leon. Did you ask him about because I asked him about the drug regimens of the guys in because he's come out and said these guys now he's concerned about them in a grandfatherly way. Like these poor guys today, they're on all very high doses and they don't ever come off. They blast and cruise. So I said, I never wanted to ask Lee Haney about drug use ever, and I never have until last week. I said, if he's going to say that, I have to ask him, what did you guys do? And he came out and said that they didn't stay on all year. They would do 12 weeks on, 6 to 8 weeks off over and over again. The doses he mentioned were, everybody said he's lying. But like I said, like Phil said, they had legitimate pharmaceutical grade stuff back then. It wasn't coming from, who knows where this underground stuff's made. Who knows? This was stuff made from, Bayer, Schering, whatever, Merck. It was all super legitimate, super potent. Like they talk about the trend. They had Parabol in this 76 milligram amps. That's it, 70. And they would do 2 of those a week, 76 times 2. Whereas you get guys now, you got teenagers doing a gram of tren a week.
Yeah, you got to wonder, is there a way to test the juice now? Like the dose?
Yeah, there is. There's kits. Okay. There's kits you can buy. Dave Palumbo sells them, and I think there's a place called Roy Kits. You could buy to test all drugs to see if they're legit.
Okay.
The problem with that, I correct me if I'm wrong, somebody in the chat, but those will tell you if the agent what it is. So if you put something that's supposed to be Primobolan in there, comes back as test, you got test. But it doesn't tell. I don't believe there's anything that tells you the potency. So you still have.
Not the potency. Okay, no, you're right. It doesn't tell you the potency, but it does let you know that drug is legit because Primobolan is one of the most faked drugs out there that a lot of people think they're getting, and really they're getting probably test or masteron and not Primobolan. So, but the test kits will tell you color-wise if that drug is legit, but it doesn't tell you the potency. No.
I don't want to keep going on this, but George Pearson III, God rest his soul, when they did his autopsy, I think all they found in his blood was testosterone. So he was probably on 3 or 4 injectables he thought they were all different things, but they were all testosterone.
Yeah, that's why you have to stay with your source and don't veer off. I learned a priceless lesson doing that in my lifetime. So stay with the trusted person, and that's it.
Yeah, just that's the thing. Is that why people look different now? They don't look the way they did in the 90s and the 2000s because the drugs were just better back then. They weren't watered down. And I don't know. I mean, I guess Nick Walker looks pretty gnarly and hard.
I don't think that. I think what the big thing is interfering is the insulin protocol under carb loading. And then the was it the SEOs, whatever you call that. But other than that, I mean, there is lower quality gear out there, and sometimes you can see it on certain athletes if they're breaking out a lot on their skin. That's obviously the things are not sanitary. But no, I think it's more insulin and SEOs that's causing some of these physiques to look not as great. But
is it the GH? Does the GH change the volume, the cell volume? Is it like the muscle looks rounder? I think from the GH is that.
Well, a lot of people use GH and they use IGF-1 mixed with the GH. And, of course, there's a lot of peptides being used now.
There you go.
With the combination of all that stuff. The high level of growth hormone over 10 IUs, yes, it's going to give you that massive, round, dense look because that's what growth do at high volumes. But it also makes you retain tons and tons of water. So that could be another reason why some of the athletes don't come in as dry, because I believe that growth has to be cut at a certain period of time, so you're not holding on to that excess water.
Yeah. Off that topic, we don't usually talk drug talk, but that's good. That's good educational stuff there. Battle for Olympia. We got to see all the guys here 18 weeks out from the show. Obviously, I think Derek looked the best because he just competed 4 weeks ago, so he's going to look the hardest and the leanest. What'd you guys think? What'd you guys think of how these guys looked? Samson, 328 pounds.
Ooh.
Got Brandon in there.
I think Brandon and Samson look great. I think Derek looked okay. My opinion, he looks big, but then like when he's standing next to Samson, Derek looks like, don't get mad at me, Derek. You look like Samson's son. Ooh. Because Samson's just he's so tall. I didn't know he was that heavy. But I liked how Brandon looked. Brandon looked pretty good.
Sorry, I had to get out of the video there. It slows my computer down. Ron, what do you think about the guys at the show?
Yeah, I like just echo it. So obviously Derek just competed more recently, so he had that advantage going. One thing I want to say about Brandon was because I did a reaction video to it live and got a bunch of people in the chat, and a lot of people commenting how Brandon's arms looked so much better, even though they measured Samson's arms at 24 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Don't block me, Samson. But a lot of people were pointing out that Brandon was the only one who had detail and separation and really good shape to his arms, especially the biceps. Samson and Derek's arms, they're kind of like blobby, like someone called them loaves of bread. Brandon's always had amazing arms, but yeah, like Derek's biceps, when he hits that pose, even when he's in condition, man, I don't see any detail. I don't see any separation. There's really they don't have any shape to them. Samson's arms don't have like the greatest shape. Brandon doesn't have the legs of either one of those guys. I shouldn't say that, but his arms, and that's what they were training was arms. So that's why it was even more apparent.
Well, I think Brandon said he don't train arms. He said he hasn't trained arms in a long time. And I saw him make a video with, who did he make a video with where he says he barely trains arms? That could be why his arms look the way they do.
Yeah, we did interview me and Chris like a couple weeks ago. And he said he hasn't been training arms that much.
Okay, that was the video I saw. Yeah.
Just the legs. And the legs have come up on Brandon. Like he's got some quads now. They got some from the side. They're massive from the side.
Yeah, so just as a side note, he opened up the carbon culture. There's two gyms. So the first one was smaller. The second one was bigger. I went to both the grand openings down in Tennessee. And the second one was closer to where he lived. So that was like going to be his main gym. They had so much leg equipment. And the arm equipment was like a few pieces in a corner. I was like, he totally picked out the equipment based on what he likes. I could tell.
Yeah. Very young. He's got a gym now too, so that's cool. My thoughts on, I guess Samson, because you're that big, sometimes you don't look as cut and as impressive. So I think that was a little bit kind of what I noticed there with Samson. I mean, does he need to keep getting up to 320 plus pounds? Probably not, but I think he says that he can't help it. He just grows and he gets that big and he can't really control it. So I guess that is what it is. Brandon looked really good. I know Brandon was the last to take off his shirt. I thought he was going to be hold out for the full time and not take it off. I'm like, Brandon, you're on the show. You got to take it off. And yeah, Derek looked okay too. So it's good. It's gonna be a battle. This is an open Olympia. It's gonna be hard to make a bet on who wins this because anybody can take it in that top 5. Even Andrew, if some miracle Andrew Jack comes in just shredded and just insane, he could, take it. So anyone could take it in that top 5. Lee Haney's comments. Let's just jump into that down the list here. So me and Ron both. If you guys haven't already, go check out Ron's interview with Lee, and check out my interview with Lee. Man, Lee had people are doing clips of him and stuff that he said on the show, and one of the things he was talking about was Keone Pearson, and Chris asked him a question and says, Keone's about to make that step up to the open, and Lee was like, I hope he never takes that step. Yeah. I was like, oh, I was shocked. What? I was shocked. And so, do you guys agree with Lee saying he should not. Now, I think leave doesn't mean don't go to the open because there's no more money there, but I think he means don't go and put on that 20 pounds of muscle that everyone's pushing this guy to do.
Because I think that's what he's trying to say. He doesn't want him to blow out his waistline and destroy that beautiful physique that he has. I believe he's going to go in the open. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think it's going to happen next year, but I think he is going to go in the open. But if he's smart, and Keone looks like, Keone, ever since he won the Olympia, because before then he was battling a lot of, mental stuff. He's in a good place right now, and he's very smart. So he knows what he needs to do. Gradually put on that size. You don't need to put on 20 pounds overnight or within the next year and a half. But I think if he does it correctly, because he doesn't have to be the biggest guy on stage. Remember, he's round, he's dense, that killer small weight, that beautiful physique. I mean, he could, he could put on 10 pounds and possibly go on the Olympia and still be in that top echelon of between, top 3, top 4. So it can be done. I believe he will do it, but if he does it the smart way, keep that beautiful physique without blowing it out. I think that's what Lee Haney is trying to say. Of course, to compete in the open now these days, the size you have to put on, if you're going to ruin that pretty physique, don't do it. And I think that's what he was trying to say.
Yeah. Lee said when he was on the show, he said, from 1984 to 1991, I only put on 11 pounds.
Yeah.
And I won 8 Mr. Olympias. I didn't put on 20 pounds. I didn't put on what. So you don't need to put on all this weight. Kind of like Martin Fitzwater is making that mistake where he's trying to do that. And like Martin, you got a beautiful structure. You don't need to do that. You got 4th at the Olympia at your weight that you were last year. So put on like 2-3 pounds. That's it. Every year, a couple pounds. Slowly refine your physique year after year, and you're going to battle your way up the line. So yeah, I agree with Lee that these guys are now. This is another thing here. The judges, we can't blame the athletes. They're just following the trends. They're like, okay, look, this guy won. Look how big he is, right? So they think, oh, you just got a little bit big. And then Steve will even say, well, you just got a little bit bigger. Just get a little bit more size. Let's put in a little more size here. Get a little bit bigger. A little bit more back thickness. Yeah, but you can't just add back thickness. You have to add muscle all over. So the judges pushing these guys to get bigger and bigger, is that the issue? Is it Lee straight out? He's like, I don't think some of these judges are even qualified to be judges. Anyone agreeing with that statement?
I can't get into that conversation battle.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not nothing. Cedric, in his one thing, and this is what I respect about Cedric. When he competed, that's what they were telling him, and Cedric said he never ever listened to that part. He stuck to who he truly was and built on that, which we all know Cedric had the most beautiful physique on stage. If he could just have nailed his condition consistently, I think Cedric would have won plenty of shows, right? So listen, we listen to the judges to a certain extent, but I don't think you have to do that. It is very hard, don't get me wrong, because now when you're watching what's being rewarded, sometimes you get caught up. I remember when Ronnie started winning, everybody, the Jay Cutler, they all start chasing Ronnie, right? Jay his physique was crazy good until he started packing on tons of muscle to where his waist got a little blocky. So I don't think you could put on muscle. I wouldn't say put on 10 pounds if they say that. You can put on muscle and it not necessarily be 10 pounds, but it could look like you put 10 pounds on, if that makes sense, right? Because you got to be careful. You can do that, and then your physique don't look right, and then you get scored against that as well. So you got to be very careful. I say stay true to yourself. Just build on what you have. Keep it tight. Keep that conditioning in. Keep that beautiful structure. Eventually, we'll be rewarded. This year, I'm very happy with the judging. It's crazy. There's times I sit as an athlete and I was like, man, well, last year they were judging this, and then the year before that they were judging this. It's so confusing because we don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
This year they've been very consistent with condition, structure, shape. They've been very good. And I'm not one to really applaud the judges. We all know that. So they've been doing a phenomenal job this year. So I hope they stay on that track.
What do you think, Ron? Do the judges have to do with some of the blame here, or should the athletes just think for themselves? And
Well, they
but
can.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard because you got the pressure. Like you gotta.
You look at how these divisions they talk about, like men's physique, they got too big. Well, why'd they get too big? The first guy that got a little bit bigger and harder, because it was supposed to be a beach body division, remember? Like a healthy look. But then someone started showing up with a little bit more of a geared up look, capped up delts and this and that, and that guy wins, and everyone's like, okay, we better do that too. And then another guy got a little bigger than that, and so on and so on. Same thing happened with several of the women's divisions. The athletes are only going to do what they need to do to win, and they see who's winning, why are they beating me, what do I need to do to beat them next time. They're just going to follow suit. But I mean, the judges judge what's in front of them, and if they're impressed by someone they're always going to be impressed by a little bit more size and a little bit more condition, if the shape and structure and everything are all equal. So I don't know. I don't know if we can blame the judges. They're just going off their own. They're basing their decisions off what they like to see. But as far as Keone was 205 when he won last fall, right? So,
yeah, around that 202.
I don't know what he weighs now, but he looks like he's put on a good at least 5 pounds of new muscle since then. How much bigger than this do you think he would even need to be to win the Mr. Olympia? I don't think he needs maybe another 5 pounds of muscle beyond what we're looking at right there. He's huge.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
215 on it because he was 205. 215 on him would look like 250. The shape.
Look at his waist.
Yeah, he looks amazing.
Like, weird. It's like a cartoon. It doesn't look like it's a human. Like it's actually possible to have that like that. But yeah, I mean, if he's 205, if he gets to 215 and his waist still is kind of staying like this, the only thing it might start to get is a little thick when he turns to the side. It might start to get a little thicker there. But yeah, I mean, he's like Derek Lunsford's height, right? He's like 5'5".
Yeah.
Right. So Derek's in the 240s now.
Yeah.
And somehow Derek's been able to maintain his waist for the most part. It's maybe starting to slip a little bit in some poses, but for the most part, when he does the front double bicep, it kind of looks like it's not as tiny as this, but it still has the flare of the lats and everything. So I think Keone could probably keep pushing up a little bit into the 220s, 225, which is like 10 pounds, but over like 3 or 4 years, not next year.
Right.
Right. So
and he would never need to be bigger than that. That would look 225 on that guy would look just ridiculous, freakish.
Yeah. That's it. That he does year after year, a couple pounds.
And I want to say something real quick because I got to give Steve Weinberger, a shout out and a respect type thing. Now, Steve necessarily in shows doesn't tell athletes to keep putting on more size. He doesn't do that. No. I know that for a fact because with me, I remember when I was with George and I was in Boston and we played the size game. I still did very well. I think I placed like 6th or something. And that was a tough show because everybody came from the Arnold. Yeah. And, I spoke to Steve and he said, listen, I told George, for your structure, you don't need to get any bigger. He said, your job is just to focus on conditioning and keeping your shape. That's what Steve has always told me every time I compete. He said, don't worry about getting any bigger. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he always preached that because he even said in a video when he was being spoke to that it wasn't a good move that Martin put that size on. He said, because if you look at Martin when he took 4th at the Olympia, his physique was amazing. Mm. So it wasn't necessary. So I don't think, and that's why I respect Steve because Steve tells you it straight up. I don't think he really pushed telling you, hey, you need to put more size on, unless you do need to put a little bit more size on, if it makes sense, right? So, like for me, I know I don't need to put much more on. I know where I look my best at what weight I look my best at, and I just got to let my structure, whatever that your body represents you, display that in a show. I don't care if a judge says, hey, you know what, you lost because, your legs are a little bit small from the back. You know what I'm saying? I was told that in the past, and that wasn't true. So I think you just got to be a professional, analyze your body, fix what you can fix, and don't overdo anything you don't need to overdo to make your body don't look that great when you step on stage, if it makes sense.
Question for Phil. Is that how it works? If you win the Masters, do you go automatically qualify?
Yes, you're into the Olympia.
Okay. There's the question.
He's asking, will you go?
Absolutely.
Of course.
I mean, listen, the big thing is stepping on the stage, right? If I'm blessed to step on that stage for a second time, remember how many pros out there? You got to get how many pros don't even get an opportunity to ever step on that stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was able to do it once. Now it's in my control to make it one more time. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Awesome. If that happened, man, that would just be icing on the cake.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great ending story. I have to write a book after that.
Yeah. Let's quickly, before we wrap up here, Derek Lunsford. Listen to him talking.
And I win, and then I'm hit with this news that my grandma passes away. Right, she's passed away, and then I honestly don't care. I mean, I do care to some degree what people say in bodybuilding, but like, imagine then you're hit with all the Nick Walker fans. Look, Nick's an amazing bodybuilder. It's great. It's great that he has his fans. I think that's somewhat good for the sport that we have. I think it's good for the sport that the fans support their favorite athletes. Now, how they support by tearing other people down is not really a good thing, but that's why I don't ever encourage my supporters to do that. But nonetheless, I'm getting hit with that, so I just put my phone away, and then we're traveling back to pick up Evie here in Florida. Then we go back to Indiana, so travel again. All the while, I was hanging on by a thread to get to the show.
So, my quick before I'll let you guys chime in. Before, like I saw this, and my condolences to Derek Lunsford on his grandmother passing. That's super sad, and maybe he was super close with his grandma, and it really took its toll on him. Okay, we're not even talking about that part. And shout out to him for even opening up and talking to everyone about that. It's not easy to do. So let's just get that out of the way. But to say that Nick Walker's fans are hating on him, I don't think they're hating on Derek. I think they're just saying, hey, we thought Nick should have won. Does that constitute as someone hating on you?
They were doing more than that, though. I mean, I saw some of the comments. They were being really cruel, saying he sucks. They were really being very disparaging, insulting toward Derek's physique, and I think some of them were even making fun of his Christianity. And it's like Hottie's fans were awful when he beat Hottie a couple of years ago. No fans of anybody should be tearing apart another athlete because he beats your favorite guy. It's not, Derek didn't score the show. He wasn't a judge. It's really all. I hate to see that, especially Derek's and his grandmother. And she was at all the shows. She was such a sweet old woman. Always had the T-shirt with his picture on it and everything. Man, I feel for the guy. He shouldn't have to go through that.
Yeah, Phil, what's your
yeah,
thoughts?
well, I forgot what episode. I think when we were talking about the now I'm getting a brain for it. When he went against Nick at the New York Pro, and I did say to you guys something was going on. I mean, I knew this already, but it's not my place to display it because I knew I already knew that's what I was negating to why he didn't look his absolute best without displaying his business. But yes, I knew about it. It's very, very sad. I know how important. I don't even know how he did the show. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But I know that she wanted him to do the Arnold, and she was able to see that for a brief moment. And then he went into the New York Pro. For the thing with the fans, listen, as a pro, from my experience, I had this issue when I went against Ian. Everybody was tearing Ian up. It was all over social media. It was very bad. Very, very bad. So when me and Ian, when we did Texas and we went over to Destination Dallas, me and Ian sat together because we were always cool. You know what I mean? We sat together and then we made a video together because HD was recording it. And I basically stood up and told my fans, it's just not cool. So I think as a professional bodybuilder, if you hear that your fans are in any way disrespecting any other athletes for whatever reason. I think it's up to that pro to say something, not just sit back and love what's going on. Not saying that Nick is, but I made it a point, because that's just the person I am. I'm not going to have a pro, regardless of who wins or who don't win. I'm not going to have any of my fans sit here and disrespect, trash anybody's religion, trash anybody's family, because they went in on Ian back then, and it was very bad. And I stepped up. So I just hope in the future when this happens, because it's going to happen, of course, the fans love their athletes. They're going to support them. I think you can support them, but support them in the right way.
Yeah. Like this is definitely going to happen at the Olympia, because there's just 5 people that could win, and they all have super fans. And when one of them loses, shit is gonna hit the fan on that. It's gonna be crazy. So it's gonna be, say it was rigged. This guy should have lost. This guy should have won. Whatever. So it's gonna happen again. But yeah, it's just I see what you guys are saying now. And Derek coming out and speaking publicly about this, will it help? Probably not. Fans don't care. They're going to stick by their person who they like the best, and they're going to continue to rag on the guy that lost, which sucks. But it is what it is. But I thought it was. I had some people message me, some people that are like in the industry and like Olympia competitors, or whatever, and they were saying like he should have just kept quiet. You should not just keep quiet. But it's not a good look or whatever. I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of neutral with this. Is it not a good look? Does it make him look soft or something? No, I don't know. I mean, people are like, I don't know if this is a new thing. Like Nick Walker's doing it. He's doing the car talks where he talks about his mental health and seeing a psychiatrist and a therapist and stuff like that. And it's like, is that the new thing to tell people that you're vulnerable? And I don't know. Is it going to help you get more fans or more support by speaking out like this? Who knows? But the fact that Derek did it, he's got the balls to do it. Good for him. It meant a lot to him. His grandmother and her passing had a huge effect on him, and it's beat him down. And I think he wanted to express himself to let people know why he's kind of been a step. Because he was saying more on in the video that he's stepping back from social media. He wasn't posting as much, and that's why he wanted to come out and tell everyone kind of what was going on and why he was down and whatever. And Phil, you already kind of knew about it too, so that was what was going on. But we'll wrap it up there, guys. Phil, we always do we did a little update there, but how are you feeling now? Is it the grind? Is it getting harder?
This week was a good week. It's hard regardless. I mean, if you're not willing to suffer, I'll tell you, the part of this, it's not so much the diet. Yes, the diet is tough. It's the damn cardio. Any pro that knows to come in an elite condition, the cardio is no freaking joke. But other than that, this week was great. My check-in with Blue was absolutely wonderful. And we're going to continue to move forward. So my body's responding very well. I think by taking that break, that mini retirement, coming off of everything and rolling on TRT and let my body recover. I think there was a coach, I'm not going to say his name, actually reached out to me and said, I think that benefited you to let your body rest. And I believe that you're going to bring probably one of your best packages now because your body had so much time to rest. And right now it's responding very, very well. So yeah, man, everything's going good. This was probably my best week. I wasn't too miserable. I didn't drive Patty crazy this week, but last week. Now we're working on this week. So we'll see what this week brings.
Awesome. Yeah. And we see you posting more videos too. So that's awesome. Keep it up. Keep the video content coming up, Phil. We love it. So we appreciate it. So we will wrap it up there, guys. We'll be back again next week, and we appreciate everyone joining again. And we'll catch you on the next one, guys. All right.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
Everybody.
Peace, guys.